I'm Kat.
I'm Haley.
And this is Night Classy, a podcast where two teachers unwind, sip wine, and each teach a lesson we can't teach at school. What are we drinking, Haley?
I'm drinking White Claw because it is almost 5 p.m. where I am, and this is our first virtual episode. It warrants drinking.
Oh my god, it does warrant drinking. I did not come prepared with an alcoholic drink. I have a Red Bull drink, courtesy of the Pacific Northwest. It is Red Bull with strawberry and lavender syrup and pineapple orange guava juice. So
what's it called? A polywog?
It's the juice is called POG. It stands for pineapple orange guava.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. That makes sense.
It does. And it's a thing here. So I'm drinking that because I'm in Washington. But after that start we just had and all those fucking technical difficulties, I kind of wish I had an alcohol.
I'm sure you can find something in your mom's house somewhere.
There is a fridge full of beer a good 20 paces away from where I'm sitting, but I'm just going to wait till intermission and then maybe I'll grab one.
Okay, that's fair enough. Well, so hopefully there are no more technical difficulties that drive you to drink more, but no pressure. We do advertise drinking on this podcast, so you're kind of being lame.
That's true. Yeah, it's too late. I'm not going to delay us anymore. It's been 40 minutes since we attempted to get started, and we finally are now getting started. Thank you, Alec and Tommy, for your endless patience.
I know. Can you imagine if we would have done this when I was going to be home alone? I would have just cried out of frustration. I would have.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
It was certainly more difficult than I thought it was going to be. Now I understand why when I listen to podcasts that record remote, they're like, oh my God, we've had a fucking day with all these technical difficulties. I get it now.
Yeah, I don't understand how we have AI, but just basic things like this and getting printers to work is so difficult.
Yeah, why are printers still impossible?
There must be a conspiracy theory, and if not, then I'm going to create one.
It's like big paper. I guess big paper would want us to use printers. Big
printer?
Big printer.
Big typewriter.
Big tree.
Big tree.
Big tree doesn't want us to use paper, so they
Mama
make printers bad.
Mother Earth coming down on us hard. Tommy left, so I get to put my legs up on his chair and just relax. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. We need to get lounge chairs for the studio.
I'm in this like really comfy like giant reading chair in my parents' basement right now, and I like it. I can fully sit cross-legged on it with my feet off the ground. So
it looks super comfortable. You know what would be even better? A freaking papasan. That would be comfortable.
I want a papasan so fucking bad, but I don't know where I'd put it.
Yeah, I don't know either. I used to have one and it was amazing. It was like one of the huge ones too. I would sleep in it sometimes and it'd be like a little nest. God, freaking amazing. Love papasans. I feel like that's such a 90s thing.
It
Maybe
is.
80s.
I think 90s, because I always wanted one when I was a kid, and I still want one. They're the comfiest fucking things. You just put blankets all over it and make a nest.
Life would be better recording virtually if we were both in papasans, but alas, we are not.
Someday when we have a fully designated Night Classy studio, we can get papasans.
Yes, we can get papasans, and we can get those contacts that we'll just like shoot the text in front of our eyes so we won't even have our computers with us.
Yeah, that would be cool.
All right, everyone, this is a dream crafting workshop now.
Donate to us on Patreon to help our dreams become reality.
Please do. We've had several Patreon notifications lately, so that's pretty cool. We really, I don't know, it makes me happy when people support our mission.
I know.
And drinking and talking.
Justin of What the Gays Say became a Patreon, and I forgot to put him in my notes for his shout out, but I'm sure he won't mind that I don't have like his exact shout out prepared. But yeah.
Oh my God, I forgot to. Shout out to you though, Justin.
He absolutely did not have to do that. I messaged him on Instagram after he became a Patreon. I was like, are you sure? Like, you do not have to do this.
Listen, we already paired up with them. We did the crossover. They came on our Patreon. The relationship is consummated. Is that the right term? It's like when you roll over in bed.
It's not the right term.
Literally no, but it's official. It's like when you roll over in bed of your boyfriend of 3 years and you're like, do you still love me?
He's a very supportive friend for giving us money. So thank you, Justin. You're a doll.
Truly. And if you guys don't know what we're talking about, join the Patreon so you can listen to the episode that we did with What the Gays Say. They came in and taught us about a secret topic. Just kidding. It's not secret. But it was on online dating, and it was a lot of fun. So.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And make sure to check out their podcast. They're really fucking funny.
Yes, they are.
But yeah, what have you been up to? I miss our cats.
They miss you too. I was really worried. Not really worried, but I was like, Ghost, like, what can I do for you? Because he was just walking around Tommy's house for an entire episode of Dexter last night. Just, bro.
Oh.
I know. And it was really sad. But he's doing better today. They had a huge cuddle fest in the sunlight, and it was amazing. Ernie was in the closet by himself, in the dark closet on a suitcase. Being
that sounds
weird.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Ernie's like the alien cat, but everything else is completely normal.
Good. Yeah, Ghost has been dramatic lately. He's been crying to me too. I think he just always wants to get outside. And I took him to the vet because I was worried there was something wrong with him. And the vet did a whole urinalysis because they thought maybe a UTI, and it came back negative. There's there's nothing wrong with him. He's just dramatic as fuck.
Yeah, that checks out. We were talking about how the cats look last night, and I was like, Safety, you're so handsome, and Ghost, you're so cute. And he was like, that's so accurate. Like, Safety has this handsomeness about him, but Ghost is just pure cuteness. Like, his eyes are so big and he's so fluffy.
Oh, I know. And Ernie just looks stupid. He has his dumb little eyes.
Yeah. And then there's Ernie, and then the baby's just a ball of energy constantly. So we've got the full crew.
Oh, I've missed them.
Things have been normal. I've been doing Uber Eats. I've been making some side money.
Nice. Any good stories, or has it been smooth sailing?
I got $20 as a tip from somebody.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's nice.
You can put in your profile why you DoorDash, and I was like, I do it to buy supplies for my classroom.
Oh my gosh, you lying bitch.
Which I will. I am going to. I want to save up some money to get some new stuff.
Just guilt people.
Listen, for all we know, I could be educating their kids.
That's
and they're
true.
ordering $5 from Chick-fil-A. Come on, just go big or go home and tip me $20 like that person did.
That's great. We've been doing all kinds of stuff here. We went on a hike yesterday. We went to Seattle. We went to the Seattle Underground. We already had this conversation, but you guys didn't hear it because we're gonna delete the first half of the episode.
The first whole half hour was a struggle bus. But it was so cool that you got to go back to the underground tunnels of Seattle, which you taught on, you said almost a year ago, right?
Yeah, pretty much exactly a year ago. So we've come full circle. We got to do the tour, and it was great. We didn't see any ghosts, unfortunately, but we got to hear the ghost stories. I know. I was looking around for them the whole time. Didn't see them.
You should have brought the... what is it, EMF detector?
I should have. The guide would have made fun of me. He was this super old cowboy dude, and he's like, I don't believe in ghosts. I'm like, okay. You're no fun.
He was guiding the tour?
Yeah.
That is no fun. How did he even get hired?
Well, it's not a ghost tour. It's a historical tour.
Oh, it would be better if it was a ghost tour.
Yeah, imagine a ghost tour guide saying they don't believe in ghosts. But yeah, they do ghost tours there every once in a while at night. But I just did the historical walking tour. And because the underground Seattle it's the old Skid Row of Seattle, and so it was the red light district. And the tour I went on, it was during the day, it was the quote unquote family friendly tour, but there's a tour at night where it's the PG-13 tour where they like go into all the sex work and the brothels and stuff. So I want to go on that one soon too.
Yeah, you definitely should.
Yeah.
Do you guys have more plans for while you're there?
We are leaving tomorrow to go to Camino Island and spend a weekend on the beach for like my grandpa's memorial. But it'll be fun. We have like a bunch of family and friends coming by, and we're going to do like cookouts every night and camping. And then after that, I'm going to see my grandma on Monday. And then I pretty much come home. I come home next Wednesday.
I'm so excited. I can't wait.
I know. I'm excited to come home too. I miss you guys and I miss the pets.
Yeah, that's the worst part is the pets. I'm like, yeah, I miss the humans, but the pets are my main priority.
I know, and I feel bad for them. But we've been getting pictures. Alex's mom and dad are watching Georgia, and she seems to be having a good time at her grandparents' house, so that's good.
Oh, yeah, she's well loved in all the places.
She is. All right, well, are you ready to get started?
Yeah, let's get down to it. I think maybe you should go first since I went first last week and we don't have the breathalyzer for both of us?
Yes, that's a good idea. I'll go first, and then during your lesson, I will drink a bunch of beers.
Okay, that works for me. Sit back, relax, and get drunk.
I will. So I have a lesson on, actually, I don't know if I want to preface this. So these are actually like pretty old notes. I've been sitting on these for a while, just waiting for the day when I didn't have time to prepare a lesson. And today is that day. This is a lesson on the history of beauty pageants.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Yeah. They're just something that I've always found fascinating since I'm not part of that world at all. And I just didn't understand why they're a thing or why people do them. So I did some research.
I was just at Walgreens and one of the newspapers, the front headliner was that Miss Nashville just won Miss Tennessee.
Oh, okay.
So that means something.
Something. But also I'd imagine Miss Tennessee has a lot of women from Miss Nashville, being that it's like the biggest city.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I bet they get that title a lot, but that's exciting. What if Miss Tennessee won Miss America? That would be cool.
That would be cool. I'd be like, that's practically me through the transitive property.
Right. According to dictionary.com, a beauty pageant or beauty contest is a competition in which entrants, usually women, are judged as to physical beauty and sometimes personality and talent, with the winners awarded prizes or titles. And to understand beauty pageants, I want to go all the way back to the beginning to an ancient Greek legend.
Love ancient Greek legends.
Me too.
I'm ready.
They're full of drama, and this one is no exception.
I hope this is so extra.
It is the most extra. So Zeus is having a wedding celebration, and he did not invite Eris, who's the goddess of discord, because obviously she brings the drama, and he didn't want that. She's pissed about this, and because she's the goddess of discord, she shows up anyway, and guess what she does? She brings the drama. So she comes with a golden apple.
She looked fabulous. Just picture Diana in her revenge dress. That was it.
I bet she did look fabulous. I need to look up a picture of her because she sounds fabulous.
The first photograph ever is her.
You know what I mean. A marble bust. I need to see her marble bust.
Me too.
She brings a golden apple, and on the golden apple, it said, the prize for the most beautiful woman here. And she's like, okay, this is for the most beautiful woman. Who wants it? Who's the most beautiful woman? And 3 of the goddesses there claimed the apple. It was Hera, Athena, and Aphrodite. And
fucking Aphrodite.
I know. She's
Leave it to her.
She's getting her nose in all kinds of shit. And so the 3 women, they looked at Zeus and they're like, well, which one of us is it? And he says, hell no, I do not want to be involved. And he told Paris, who was a Trojan human, that he had to judge who was the most beautiful. So they had a competition. The 3 took a bath, they stripped naked, and then all stood in a line in front of Paris to be judged.
Gods do not set you up for success.
I know.
They're not always the ultimate protectors, are they?
No. And yeah, Zeus was a petty bitch. He
has his moments.
He did. So Paris walked up and would approach each of them individually to take a look at them. And when he approached each one, they whispered in his ear and offered him a bribe. Hera offered to make him the king of Europe and Asia if he named her the most beautiful. Athena offered wisdom and skill in war, and Aphrodite offered him the world's most beautiful woman, which at the time was Helen of Sparta, who was the wife of Greek king Menelaus, or Menelaus. Manila.
Envelope.
King Manila envelope. Paris took Aphrodite up on her offer of Helen and named her the winner. And she did. She awarded him Helen. And this, according to mythology, started the Trojan War because after she took Helen from the Greek king, and so Greece invaded Troy to win Helen back. And so it sparked this huge historical war over a beauty pageant.
Oh my God, I love historical drama. I mean, I guess that's just history, but...
I mean, this is more mythology, but yeah, both.
Well, yeah. You just have to explain mythology to history to me this whole time.
So, Haley.
But the text says that it happened.
Yeah, so we have a bit of an intersection here. And this is the earliest example of a beauty pageant that we have. It's mythology, Haley, just so you know. But ancient Greece actually did hold actual beauty competitions, but they were for men. There was a yearly contest of physique held in Athens called the Euandria, which means good maleness. So the men would kind of go show how muscular and how perfect they were. This is the first time we see this.
Good maleness. I like that better than good grief.
Good grease.
Grief? Oh yeah, that's a Midwestern thing, isn't it? That you had never heard of till I said it and you were like, what the hell?
Oh no, I thought you were making a pun. Good grief, no. Good grease. I don't know. It's hard to hear. Technical difficulties.
Life difficulties.
Yeah, just in general. So the earliest we can trace the roots of beauty pageants back for women is medieval European May Day celebrations because they involved a selection of the May Queen. If you don't know, May Day was a pagan festival to celebrate the first day of the spring planting season, and part of that festival was selecting a May Queen. She's usually an adolescent girl. When she's selected, she wears a tiara or a flower crown, and she's dressed in a white gown to symbolize purity. Depending on the celebration, she represents either the maiden, the earth's fertility, the goddess of spring, or the Virgin Mary. And her job is to begin the May Day celebrations. And we see this today with a lot of beauty pageants. Like in Washington and Wenatchee, we have the Apple Queen, who is like, she wins a beauty pageant and then she oversees like the Apple Festival, which is another agricultural type festival. And the May Queen makes a speech before the dance around the maypole begins. And I couldn't find exactly how the May Queen was selected historically, but I mean, we still crown May Day, or we still have May Day coronations. And I mean, if you look at those, I feel like beauty and social status are a big part of selecting the May Queen. And I think we can assume that that was also the case in medieval times.
I think that's a fair assessment.
Yeah. So it's basically a beauty pageant. And in the United States, May Day is not typically celebrated, but we do also have a tradition of using young, beautiful women in ceremonies. And this goes back a long time. For example, in the 17 and 1800s, important politicians or important generals, when they traveled, would be greeted along their route by delegations of young women dressed in linen. So towns would send out their most beautiful young women to just line up along the route and kind of impress these important people with how beautiful their girls were.
Right. Just strip it down, blank canvas, hop in some linen.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
some linen, and then go do what you do.
Yeah.
Because America and poverty.
What?
I'm just trying to make an impression of one of the beauty queens now. What did that one girl say?
Oh my gosh, there's so many. I should have been. I didn't want to like make fun of pageant queens, so I didn't like put any of this in my notes, but it was a missed opportunity to put some funny quotes in here.
Oh yeah, it was something like
She's
that.
like the Afghanistan, such as.
Yeah, such as. Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm over here at weekly recording this podcast, like because I'm an enemy.
I know this podcast has given me a lot more empathy for people who fuck up on TV, like in their quotes. Like we were watching The Bachelorette with my parents on Monday, and my mom kept making fun of like the contestants for saying stupid stuff or just like essentially saying like sentences that meant nothing. And I couldn't partake because I was like, I know how hard it is to be coherent.
People are stupid. Yeah, you don't realize it until you start a podcast with your best friend and have to listen to it every week. You're like, oh my God.
Yeah, you realize
I'm a teacher.
You realize you're just as stupid as everyone else.
Right. Yes. So true. Everyone's stupid, so whatever.
Yeah, if your self-esteem ever gets too high, just start a podcast and you'll come back down to reality real quick.
Yeah. Immediately you'll get checked.
Yes. So these delegations went on through the 1700s and the 1800s, but it wasn't until the 1850s when the United States saw its first official women's beauty contest. And it was created by America's Greatest Showman, P.T. Barnum. You probably know P.T. Barnum from his circus, but he also had other popular spectacles, which included his national contests. So he would have these contests judging things like dogs, chickens, and flowers. You'd display them in front of a judge and live audiences and choose the best one. And he was kind of like one of the first people to do this on a major scale. And it became super popular. And then in 1955, Barnum held a particularly popular show that drew a crowd of 61,000 spectators.
Was it a beauty contest or like a shaved butter, carved butter?
A what?
It has to be one of the two. It's either a beauty contest
or shea butter.
No, not shea. Shaved, like butter statues.
Oh.
That's what I was thinking this whole time. You're talking about him judging chickens and cows, and I'm thinking of, I think it was like Charlotte's Web, where there's a bunch of like butter statues that are being judged in addition to the animals.
No, it was not a beauty contest or a butter contest. Do you want one more guess?
It was a beard growing contest.
No, that would have been better. It was a baby competition. So here we see our first toddlers and tiaras.
Ew!
I know. It wasn't like a baby beauty pageant now. Like, people would just bring their babies, and it was like, which baby is the cutest? And people...
Oh, yeah. Like, kind of how Gerber does, like, the baby of the year, like gets to be on their label for the year.
Yes, it was exactly like that. And people fucking loved it. So he was like, okay, I'm riding the wave of success. Like, what am I going to judge next? So later that year, he launched a new exhibit called The Handsomest Ladies. The prize was a dowry if the winner was single and a diamond tiara if she was married. The competition was not at all successful, mostly because it was the Victorian era, so women were very conservative. They did not want to publicly display themselves. That was considered, like, inappropriate, and they didn't want to do it. And then people, like, just in wider societies criticized the event as being indecent. Like, you're parading women around a stage, like, women are supposed to be modest and demure, and here you are showing them off.
You nasties. The woman's body's not to be seen.
No.
But to be benefited from and controlled.
Exactly. And so
I get it.
Yeah, it's weird because it's like Their criticisms make sense. Like, it is weird to be displaying women on a stage as if they're dogs or chickens or butter sculptures. But
it's worse to make them feel weird and bad about it if they want to get a fucking dowry or a tiara.
Totally. And I think the issue
was... Or just if they want to.
Yeah, just if they want to. But, like, you know, it would hurt a woman's reputation to do this. So he was not getting many applicants to be part of his competition. So he made some changes. Instead of competing in person, women could submit photos of their faces, and then the photos would be displayed in a museum, and the public would vote on who was the most beautiful. So he's trying to add a little bit of class by putting it in a museum, and then the top 10 winners would receive commissioned portraits of themselves, and those portraits would be put in a quote-unquote fine arts book to be published in France. So he's really trying to dress this up a little bit and appeal to, like, higher society ladies.
Yeah, I feel like a commissioned piece of art is pretty high up there.
Definitely. It was pretty appealing. Unfortunately, or fortunately, Barnum never actually ended up holding the competition because he sold the museum before all the photos arrived. But people liked his idea, and this set kind of a new model of photo beauty contest that would be copied for decades to come. Cities started trying to use this to boost their status and citizen morale. Civic leaders would invite young women to their town or to their city from their town or their city to submit photos of themselves for the newspaper. And then the newspaper would choose the one who best represented the spirit of the community.
Oh my God. It's no wonder that young women especially, I'm not saying that males are not affected, but that young women with social media today have issues, and that, you know, just going all the way back, all the value being placed on how we look.
Totally. And yeah, because it's not like these women's personal values represented the community. It was just their faces. So they were just kind of being used as mascots. It's very, I think, distasteful. And
what if you completely misunderstood the assignment and you're one of the girls, and let's say like you had a sports team and for that city, and it was like a Bengal tiger, like Cincinnati for example, and you just had your whole face painted like a fucking Bengal tiger and tried to really incorporate the actual mascot into your photo.
They're like, this is the 1800s West Virginia. We can't get an actual tiger, so we're just gonna have these women dress as tigers.
And that was the first sighting of a young person wearing a fake tail in public on purpose.
And it's all just uphill from there.
Yeah. Man, wait till you see the emos in the late 2000s, because what a wild ride it's been.
The tigers walked so they could run.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Yeah. For a long time, these photo pageants were the preferred beauty pageant all through the 1800s because displaying women in public was considered very taboo and inappropriate. It wasn't until the early 1900s when attitudes toward women started getting more relaxed and in-person beauty pageants became more popular. In 1921, the first Miss America pageant was held. It was called Atlantic City's Inter-City Beauty Contest, and it took place in Atlantic City, New Jersey. And it was part of the city's Fall Frolic, which was a 5-day festival designed to keep tourists there after the summer months for a little longer, because that's when they made all their money. And the festivity that was really broadcast in order to make people want to go to this festival was the bathing competition.
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
Also, if we remember my lesson on underwear, this is also when thongs started to kind of emerge.
I think that was later on during when Miss World was created. Or maybe
okay.
You're right. I didn't see anything about thongs, but later on...
I don't know if they did, but generally in the big picture.
Yes. Definitely during like the rise of beauty pageants came the rise of skimpier bathing suits. That's something I came across. But one of the major beauty pageants was made because of the invention of the bikini. I'll I tried to find it just now and I couldn't. We'll get there. Anyway.
Okay. I'm sorry. I derailed.
No, you're fine.
I'm doing what I do.
No, you're right. And so this was basically a parade of people in bathing suits. And all kinds of people would participate in this parade, men, women, and children. They'd parade around in their bathing suits. But there was a special division for quote unquote professional women. And that was for actresses. So actresses had their own bathing suit parade. And the organizers of this parade stressed that it was a wholesome event because they were getting a lot of criticism. But even though it was a quote-unquote wholesome event, for weeks they ran advertisements for the bathing suit parade where they said, quote, thousands of the most beautiful girls in the land.
Yeah, can you imagine that? The advertising and what they call it and envision it as is different than what it may actually be.
Right.
Or what they want it to be.
Right. And all kinds of people could be part of the bathing suit parade, but the main attraction was the beautiful women's part of the bathing suit parade. And it was the 8 women who would compete in the Miss America pageant. These 8 girls had first won separate beauty contests that let them qualify for the bathing suit portion of the main event. The prize was a golden mermaid statue for being the most beautiful bathing girl in America and $100 cash.
Damn.
I know. I think
I would be fine with just the mermaid.
Right.
It could be fake gold.
It's completely worth it. Completely.
Yes. And I think one thing that if it wasn't included, which I'm sure it wasn't, and I will be disappointed, but if it's a bikini contest, there should be a cannonball. They need to see how well they can do a cannonball and how well everything can stay put together.
You're
in this
so
bikini
right.
Contest. Yeah, because it's wholesome.
Yes, it's so wholesome. And I do want to know, these girls were not wearing bikinis. It was 1921. We're not quite there yet.
Okay.
Their bathing suits probably wouldn't even register as bathing suits to us. But at the time, it was very scandalous. And the age range was set to 17 to 25. 100,000 spectators came to the boardwalk to witness the event.
And then it collapsed.
Oh no, I wish.
That would be really bad, actually.
Yeah,
but
it would be.
You're like, yeah, 100,000 deaths. That does sound really bad, Haley.
Sorry, I was just distracted by the next part of my notes, which is also really bad.
Okay, bring it on.
The event was kicked off by King Neptune, and he arrived on a barge. He was surrounded by an entourage called the Frolic of Neptune, and it consisted of 20 beautiful women and 20 black men dressed as slaves.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And this is, I think, the first time in America we see POC represented in pageants, and they were here represented as slaves. So
for why? Why?
For racism. And so here we kind of see pageants have a very problematic history with race and especially with blackness. We'll definitely get into that a little bit more later. So the women who were competing were first judged by the public, who would clap and cheer for who they wanted to win. The women were judged both on their beauty and personality. Spectators could come up to the women throughout the event and ask them questions, get to know them better, and then clap for the girls they liked the best. After this, they were presented on the stage to the judges for more judgment. And 16-year-old Margaret Gorman of Washington, D.C. won the competition. I don't know if you caught this, but 17 was the minimum age to join the pageant, but then the winner was 16 years old. So I don't really know how that worked. Don't ask me about it.
Maybe they rounded up.
Yeah, maybe they just let her because she was so beautiful. I don't know. She won. When she won, she was wrapped in an American flag and paraded around as Miss America. I have a quote about her from Samuel Gompers, the president of the American Federation of Labor, who told the New York Times, quote, "She represents the type of womanhood America needs. Strong, red-blooded, able to shoulder the responsibilities of homemaking and motherhood. It is in her type that the hope of this country rests."
My mouth is wide open. My jaw has dropped. I guess I shouldn't be that surprised because that's where the values were.
Totally.
Women, you were supposed to be beautiful, quiet, and take care of the kids in the house.
Absolutely. And those are the standards that these women are being judged off of.
I would fail.
Same. No one has ever said that quote about me.
Yeah, they would like literally throw me in the dumpster.
They'd throw you in the ocean.
Yeah, just overboard. They'd be like, hope you can swim, bitch.
Yeah, good.
And I'd be like, well, turns out I can.
Good thing you're already wearing a bathing suit.
Yeah, they're like, good thing we didn't judge you on swimming because you would have won. But oh well, you're not pretty enough.
Too bad, bitch. Overall, it was a massive success, and Atlantic City continued to hold yearly Miss America pageants. Each year, they got bigger and bigger. By 1940, Miss America was an established tradition, and women competed in 4 categories: swimsuit, evening gown, talent, and intellect and personality. In 1954, the event was televised for the first time with longtime host Burt Parks, and the next year it featured the theme song, There She Is, Miss America. Over the years, women increasingly represented states instead of cities until 1964 when it switched to only states. And despite the popularity of this contest, from its conception, there was a lot of apprehension over the morality of parading women around. In the beginning years, it wasn't for feminist reasons, but, because of women showing off their beauty and their figures was just thought of as impure.
Yeah, it's like literally the opposite of feminist reasons.
Definitely. And so we kind of see this weird dichotomy where when the women win, they're being praised for their ability to be like wholesome mothers and homemakers, but they're on the stage doing things that society like thinks is really inappropriate. And so like Miss America was kind of had to combat this viewpoint. The organizers of the pageant stressed that the women were natural and unsophisticated and promoted them as youthful and wholesome. They also made sure everyone knew that the contestants didn't wear makeup or bob their hair.
What, didn't they? Did they not wear makeup?
In the beginning, they did not wear makeup because there was so much necessity to act like they were doing something wholesome and we're just trying to find the most red-blooded American girls out there. It was just this weird dichotomy and contradiction where they're being paraded around in bathing suits for people to stare at, but then they're being promoted as traditional and innocent and like, oh, I don't know. It's just so fucking weird.
Right. All the judges are like touching themselves while they're like, okay, in Miss America, can you say the following quote? The following quote would be, want to storm the Capitol. And then she says it, and whoever does it best, the most convincingly wins.
Pretty fucking much. And Miss America was kind of the gold standard. It popularized beauty contests throughout the 1920s and 1930s. They started popping up in all corners of the United States. They even started appearing in high schools.
Ew.
Listen to this. A high school in Fresno, California held a beauty contest for its female students to get them interested in personal hygiene.
Wait, how so? What?
Exactly. I don't know. And if anyone needs to get interested in personal hygiene, it's the fucking boys. I doubt the girls needed this more than the boys did.
All you need to do is walk into a boys' restroom one time to know.
Truly. So I don't think it was actually personal hygiene. The PE teachers rated their skin, hair, muscle tone, and general appearance for the high school beauty contest.
Where's the decency contest for men?
Right.
It doesn't even need to be beauty. There's God.
Yeah.
I can't.
And
I won't.
And just
I'm logging off.
Just what the fuck? Just what the fuck? There were beauty contests held at state fairs. For example, the Iowa State Fair, where instead of beauty, girls were judged for their virtue. The winner of the 1926 State Fair, quote, used no powder or rouge, cared nothing for boys and dates, did not dance, and rarely went to the movies. And this is why she won, because she was so virtuous.
Man, it's like we're living in Footloose.
I know. She also sounds like a huge stick in the mud.
Yeah, total wet blanket. I bet she also doesn't believe in ghosts, so.
Probably not.
Lame.
That's what I want to know. Can that be a question for the Miss America pageant?
Yeah, we need to
Do
have
you believe in ghosts? Why or why not?
Ooh, yeah, we could call it like the Spooky Girls trials. The Spooky Girl trials.
Ooh, yeah. It could be, we could have like a witch trials themed beauty pageant.
Yes, and then we create our own Pokemon.
What?
And there's just thousands of them, and those are the trophies instead of mermaids. That way, I'm not saying everyone should get a participation trophy, but in our instance, yes. And then, how much you win is how big your trophy is.
Ooh, I like that.
So everyone gets one, but the bigger the winner, the bigger the trophy.
And if you win, you can get, the cool Pokemon, and if you lose, you can get, a Caterpie. Something not cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And looks are not incorporated at all.
No.
The judges are blind.
The judges are blind. You just have to answer.
Blindfolded. Or blind. Either one.
You have to answer whether or not you believe in ghosts. And you have to have a cat. And we'll judge how cute your cat is. And if he can do any tricks.
Absolutely. Yeah. You have to do tricks with your cat. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to be on stage though, because cats can be skittish. Yes. So just a video will do.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Okay, well, let's make this happen.
Work in progress.
Yes. We'll workshop it after the show.
Sounds good.
Anyway, back to this winner of the state fair, we see women being held up as symbols of community values. And this spread all over the world. In the 1950s, a lot of colonized countries were winning their independence, and they adopted beauty pageants as a way to spread nationalism. So you can have these beauty pageants and find the most beautiful woman in the country who represents your values as a country. And then, like you said earlier, at the beginning of this, when you said, I am Miss Tennessee or whatever, people can, it's a point of pride. You're like, okay, this woman represents me and I am her.
Yeah, they identify. They're like, if I can't take pride in my government all the time, then I can take pride in how fucking hot Miss USA is.
Right. They essentially became mascots for their countries. And what better mascot than a mascot? Oh my God.
Mascot.
What better mascot than a hot chick? So
that was a hard sentence.
It was. Nailed it.
You're doing hard things. I'm proud of you.
I am doing hard things, especially since I can't hear myself. So this is proving to be a huge challenge. I don't know if I'm whispering or screaming right now.
No, you're doing great.
Okay, good.
You sound normal.
Good. I'm glad. And during all of these new beauty contests around the world was when, in 1951, the Miss America Corporation invented Miss World pageant, where women could compete for the international title. Miss USA and Miss Universe pageants were also formed. And then there was, Miss World. And Miss World is the one that started as a bikini contest festival. With the advent of the bikini, they're like, all right, well, now let's have a competition wearing the bikini bathing suit.
Yeah, Big Bikini got involved.
Big Bikini definitely got involved. And this festival, I don't have this in my notes, so this might not be exactly on point, but they had this festival and then people saw it and were scandalized, and then bikinis went away for a while. It made them less popular.
Oh my God.
I know.
Let them wear bikinis.
Please, for the love of God.
Or don't. I saw a good TikTok today, or maybe it was a reel on Instagram, but the girl was like, I didn't want to wear a bikini this season, so I searched for a swim dress.
Ooh.
And she did not disappoint. It was really cute. It was just a swim dress, really cute prints, and it was kind of fitted. I was like, that is amazing.
That is amazing. I only say let bikinis exist because as a girl with a long torso, it's difficult to find a one-piece bathing suit that doesn't pinch the hell out of my crotch. I've never found a one piece that works for me, even though I really want to. Yeah.
The only thing worse than trying to find a romper or one piece that fits as a person with a long torso is, I don't know, maybe riding a bike with a seat that's not fitted well.
What?
I don't know. It gets the same zone for me.
Yeah.
You know? If
I
it's
see
like
what you're
pulling.
saying.
Yeah.
Definitely pulling. I can't wear bodysuits either because, it's just way too tight. It's very unfortunate. This is a major problem in America, and it's my platform as Miss America to combat the unfairness of one-piece bathing suits.
Yeah, by the transitive property, you identify as female just like Miss Universe or Miss America does, so you are Miss America.
Yes.
And we have crowns at home. We can definitely put them on and make it happen.
Please do. And I would like one-piece bathing suits to either be stretchier or have some that are made for tall girls. The end.
We gotta meet in the middle. Come on, big bikini. We know you're listening.
Okay. Up until the 1940s, Miss America pageant required that all contestants be, quote, of good health and of the white race.
Oh.
Yeah. And this rule was amended in the 1940s, but the competition didn't see its first black contestant until 1970, when Miss Iowa Cheryl Brown competed. And Miss America did not have a black winner until 1984, when Miss New York Vanessa Williams won.
Hell yeah. She was on Desperate Housewives.
She was?
Oh, yeah. She played a huge part in the later seasons in Desperate Housewives, and she had a really, really tough go of things in the meet. I don't know if you're going to talk about any of that, but...
Yeah, I have a little bit about her. So she certainly had a tough go of things. She won, but that just made her the target of intense racism and bullying on all sides. And she was the first winner to resign her crown. And I say resign in quotes because she did not resign her crown by choice. 2 months before the end of her reign, pornography magazine Penthouse published nude photos of her without consent. And these photos were taken before Vanessa won Miss America, and she did not take them for Penthouse. She did not know that Penthouse even had them.
She was friends with a photographer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, do you know?
I'm sorry.
No,
yeah.
Please elaborate, because it sounds like you know more about this than I do.
The podcast You're Wrong About did an entire episode on her. So that's where I learned everything. But she was friends with that photographer. And if I may be mistaken, but yeah, I at the very least, she was friends with that person. But he was also married in a relationship, but it seems like maybe they were a bit flirty. And she was in college at the time. Mm-hmm. She was, very young and naive. And so when she posed in the ways like, I've never seen the pictures, but I understand that like she was maybe scantily clad, like they were in that pornographic magazine, even though she didn't pose for them. But she posed because she wanted to get into modeling. And then her friend the photographer ends up betraying her trust after she becomes Miss America, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was just a fucked up situation. She never even thought twice about those photos because it was somebody that she trusted.
Exactly. And it was a long time ago. It was before she even competed. So she had probably forgot all about them. And then suddenly they're printed in a magazine without her permission. And despite the fact that she never really thought these photos were going to see the light of day, the Miss America organization gave her 72 hours to resign her crown.
It's so fucked up. I'm really glad that she bounced back.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know how life could have been different, but at least she wasn't canceled wrongfully.
I mean, she kind of was at the time. But
yeah, that's true. That's true.
She did have a comeback, luckily. But, we can see from this, and I'm sure there are countless other examples, that Miss America has huge problems with sexism and racism. And yeah, that is a problem that continues to this day. It is steeped in the history of that organization. To protest the lack of Black inclusion, in 1968, Miss Black America was held in Atlantic City on the same day as the Miss America contest. And this protest by Black women was not the only protest that Miss America faced that year. Feminist protests outside of the 1968 Miss America pageant, holding signs that said things like, "If you want meat, go to the butcher," and "Welcome to Miss America cattle auction." This got a lot of attention. It was hugely visible, broadcasted on TV, and brought the women's liberation movement a ton of publicity. And from there, people continued to protest beauty pageants for what I think are obvious reasons. You know, they fetishize traditional femininity, quote unquote, traditional femininity and Western, aka white, beauty standards. And I also want to add that they contain a lot of fat phobia, body image issues, and eating disorders are a huge problem with pageant queens. And they treat women as objects to mirror the values of society rather than as individuals with agency. So, you know, the problems really just go on and on and on. And in 1996, feminists and nationalist protesters picketed the Miss World contest in India and even threatened mass suicide. Their message was that these international pageants import Western values and threaten Indian culture. And in the United States, pageants are most often criticized for objectifying women.
Did the protest in India get any traction? Did it change things?
It got a lot of attention because they were threatening mass suicide, but I don't think it changed anything, at least not anything I saw. I didn't do a deep dive, so I could be wrong about that. But I think that was just like an extreme example of protest. But they're constantly being protested. And Miss America is sort of adapting things in response to protests. They got rid of the swimsuit portion in 2018 and announced that instead the event will focus on competitors' talent, passion, and ambition. Miss America also likes to emphasize that it provides educational and service opportunities, which in 1989, they did incorporate the concept of the platform, where the winner has to choose a social cause to advocate for during her reign. So that's why now when someone wins Miss America, they will stand up for bullying or stand up for ending child hunger, like just, you know, something that matters to them. And then when they do their little tour, they'll give speeches about that or visit children's hospitals, those kind of things.
Yeah. I mean, that's all great and good, but really they just need to break the entire thing and start over.
Totally. And like the platform thing was just incorporated as a PR stunt. Like the pageant has never been about social issues ever. They also like to cite the scholarship money that they give to women. Miss America refers to itself as the world's largest provider of scholarships to women. They claimed to give out $45 million in yearly scholarships, but that's total BS. There was an investigation done by John Oliver who found that they actually give out under $4 million in yearly scholarships.
That's shocking. And also, how do they even get money? Like, how does Miss America make money?
Well, they hold a bunch of pageants and, you know, people have to pay to enter the pageants and there are sponsors. Like, they make a lot of money.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
But $45 million is an insane sum of money, especially when the actual figure is only $4 million.
Yeah, when you're freaking lying.
Yeah.
That's like me applying to a credit card. They're like, how much do you make in a year? And I'm like, $1 million. And they're like, your credit limit is unlimited. And then I'm like, psych, I'm a teacher.
Yeah. You're like, psych, I actually never cared about women's education. Not you, the pageant.
Yeah. What if I actually got mad at you and was like, Kat, you know that's really important to me.
You're like, Kat, people are going to hear this. I told that to you in private.
Kat, you know I'm a supporter of beauty pageants and that I am fully support them incorporating this last-ditch effort to make it non-controversial.
I mean, you do have a tiara and a sash from winning prom queen.
I didn't vote for myself. I was elected prom queen. I didn't campaign. I like a moderate amount of attention, minimum to moderate. It's obviously why I started this podcast with you, but I wasn't out there campaigning, giving away pins and shit.
For your birthday, I'm going to frame your prom dress along with your sash and tiara, like put it in a shadow box so we can hang it on the wall of our house, like above the fireplace.
I hope you do. I really do. That dress was gorgeous.
Where is it?
It's at my dad's house. I'll give you his number so you can contact him.
Okay, next time you're home, bring it back.
It'll be in October, so my birthday will have passed. But you don't even know when my birthday is. It doesn't really matter, does it?
It can be a Christmas gift.
Okay.
I know when Christmas is.
That's true. December 26th.
Okay, back to the scholarships. Like, sure, they give out $4 million worth of scholarships, but there's strict parameters on who can receive them. They're only awarded to women who are eligible for and successful in their pageants, because, you know, they're often given as a prize for pageant winners, which in order to enter these pageants, you have to be unmarried and never have been pregnant, which I think are two pretty sexist parameters.
Yeah, really fucked up. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Not to mention, doing pageants itself is fucking expensive. Like, to enter your child in one beauty pageant costs an average of between $300 and $5,000.
Oh my God. And that already eliminates a ton of people. And then when you think about having to not be ever married and then to not ever have been pregnant, these are like, that population could probably use scholarship money maybe a little bit more if their income is being dispersed to their children or being like taking care of a multi-person household. Totally. I don't get why that's a qualifier.
Yeah, I mean, this money is, for the most part, I mean, there are exceptions to every rule. For the most part, this money is not going to people who need it. You know, if you have the means to put your child in these pageants, you probably have the means to at least set up a college fund. And, you know, it's well in their right to be giving scholarships to people who don't need them. Plenty of organizations do that. I mean, essay contests are based on your essay, right? It's not based on your need, and that's allowed, but I don't think it's fair for them to be touting themselves as advocates for women's education when they're clearly not. Like, I feel like the scholarships are more than anything just a ruse to get brownie points and pats on the back for this industry.
Yeah, they're like, but only for these.
Right,
women.
right.
It's just a different masked discrimination.
Totally.
Really.
Yeah.
They're hiding behind a smokescreen.
They absolutely are. And people are catching on to this. Miss America's viewership is down. When Miss America was first broadcasted in 1954, it received 27 million views. Then in
I didn't even know there were 27 million views to be had in 1950.
Honestly, me either. It's a crazy amount. People really went wild for this. But then fast forward to 2014, it only had 8.6 million. In 2015, it had 7.1 million. And in 2019, it only got 3.61 million.
That is hilarious. Yeah, it's going way down. Because in the 1950s, how many people actually had TVs? Compared to now, you can get anything, anywhere, anytime if you're in America, like, and have access to internet. I don't want to, like, generalize across the world or anything, but, like, you have access. If you have internet, like, you can be a viewer in that, and still, it just shrunk so small. That's really funny. I'm glad.
I know. I'm glad too. And yeah, it's just, they're just really on the decline as an industry as a whole, because, you know, no matter how people try to spin it, pageants are undeniably sexist at their core. And if you do pageants and enjoy them, like, you do you, as long as you're 18 years old and can make these decisions for yourself. I'm not trying to hate on pageant women. We all do things that are sexist, trying to fit into a patriarchal society. Like, it's your choice. Like, I am...
Preach it. Yes.
I am in no way trying to hate on women. I'm trying to hate on this industry. And yeah, it's your choice. They have a racist and sexist past and present, so it's important to view them with a critical lens, even if you like them and participate in them. Like, reflect on it a little bit.
What was that movie that Sandra Bullock was in?
Miss Congeniality.
Miss Congeniality.
Yeah, if you're gonna do it, maybe take it with a Miss Congeniality approach.
I don't think I've seen that movie.
I've seen the beginning, so I can't really actually speak from experience, but it seems fitting.
So you're saying you have to be an undercover cop to participate?
Never mind.
We need to watch that movie. It sounds interesting.
All right, I'll add it to the list. We need to have a notepad that's customized. It's like things to do after recording. We've got create 1,000 Pokemon for our own pageantry contest and watch Miss Congeniality.
Yes,
What
I like those 2 steps. Let's focus on that for now, and then once those are done, we'll add something else to the list.
2-step program. Okay, I'm listening. Continue.
But yeah, I just want to say, like, I barely scratched the surface of this. It is a huge topic. There's so much to it. I didn't even touch on child beauty pageants. So if you liked this lesson, let me know. Maybe down the line, I'll do a part 2, because yeah, there's so much to this that I barely got into, and it's interesting. I had fun researching it.
I liked this lesson, and I would fully love to hear about your research on child pageantry.
I don't know if I want that in my search history, but we'll see. We'll see.
Well, all you have to do is get ExpressVPN, and you won't be able to be tracked.
There you go.
ExpressVPN, sponsor us.
Oh my. My sources are a PBS.org article called Beauty Pageant Origins and Culture, Wikipedia, Refinery29.com, AtlanticCityExperience.org, DailyCare.com, Bankrate.com, Racked.com, HollywoodReporter.com, PageantPlanet.com, Britannica.com, and HowStuffWorks.com. That was my lesson.
So many .coms. Good
so
job.
many. There were a few .orgs in there. Don't forget about it.
This is true. Right. Don't forget about the... What is the portion of the contest called that's like supposed to be about how smart you are?
Personality and intellect.
Personality and intellect. That's the .org. The rest of it .com, baby.
Yeah. Bikini portion, baby.
No rules.
All right. Well, thank you guys for listening. We'll be right back.
Hey guys, I just want to, Kat and I want to just say how much we appreciate all of the new patron and old Patreon supporters that we've had. We've had an influx lately of more people supporting us on Patreon, and we just want to share the love. It really helps us continue what we're doing and put out all the extra content that we do on Patreon.
If you love this podcast and you want to hear more of our voices, or you're sick of hearing our voices and want to hear a substitute teacher take over for a lesson, please go over and check out our Patreon. We have 15 months worth of bonus Patreon content up there. There are episodes and some videos, all kinds of fun stuff, discounts on merch. We send our Patreons yearly gifts, so definitely go check that out if that's something that interests you. And like Haley says, it helps support us and helps keep the podcast going.
Right. So if you are like Michael Scott and you want a win-win-win situation, Patreon is that for you in the Night Classy universe. So head on over there. You can check out the new content starting at just $1 per month, but there are higher levels that have different perks, such as picking out episodes that we cover in an episode of Night Classy. Those are some of my favorite topics, at least, because we get to do different things and we get to really know you all as listeners even more, which is really valuable. We try to build that relationship with you guys because you're cool as fuck. So if that sounds like something that is right up your alley, then it's right up our alley too. Head on over to Patreon and join starting at $1 per month.
See you there.
Bye. Welcome back, friends, family, Kat and Alec. Today I have basically my whole lesson is a compilation of creepy details.
Yay! Love a creepy detail.
I went for the creepy route. I know. I was like, am I Haley or am I Kat right now? Because this story is creepy. Ooh. And the question here is it folklore? Is it true? Is it scary? We don't know. So we're going to go through the lesson and you can tell me what you think at the end of it. But we're talking about the Wells house today, which is referred to as the real life Amityville house. Does any of this ring a bell to you, Kat?
Yeah, I love this topic. Go on.
Okay, the topic of the Wells house?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sweet. I wasn't sure because I really couldn't find a lot of specifics like on the story, but it seems like it's like almost everywhere. But there are very few direct quotes from the people who have like been in this house.
Wasn't there? I watched a documentary about like it's called like The Real Amityville Haunting or something like that, where the Sun did a documentary. I think I watched that.
Okay, sweet. So you're well versed. I had never heard of this place, and it's considered apparently one of the most haunted houses in America, but I feel like there are a lot of those.
Yeah, everyone wants to be the most haunted. You can't all be.
You can't all be. I would like to know the most haunted, actually.
It's our house.
They need to have a bikini contest. They need to have a personality and intelligence, which is not the right term, but I can't remember that part of the contest.
No, I think you nailed it. I think you nailed it.
Yeah, and it needs to have creepy curb appeal. But the Wells house is referred to as the real Amityville house. Do you know about the actual Amityville house?
Yeah, haven't you seen Amityville Horror?
No,
What? Haley, how are you doing this lesson? You haven't seen Amityville Horror.
Well, I watched videos on it and got the summary because it's a huge franchise now.
Yeah.
There are like 20 movies, but it was all based off this book called The Amityville Horror that was published in 1977. It started as a book. It was made into all these movies, but it's all based on the true story. So, Kat, I'm sorry if this is repetition for you, but if you're listening and it's not, then I'll be glad. If not, then I guess just fast forward through my lesson.
No, it's always fun to be reminded because you forget things. And I'm ready for a ghost story. I'm in my like creepy, cozy basement right now. I filled up, my Red Bull was almost all the way gone, and I just dumped a White Claw over the top so I have a delicious drink. And tell me a fucking story. I'm in a cozy chair.
Dude, I'm so glad that's White Claw because you lifted up your cup and it looks like beer, and you were talking about getting beer and there's a straw in your cup, and I was about to lose my mind.
No, I looked at the beers and I was like, to open this, I'd have to go upstairs and get a bottle opener, and that's not going to happen.
Oh, yeah, that's such a hassle. It's like, come on, we're living in 2021, people.
I know. Everything should be a twist off.
So
that's
true.
my Miss America platform.
Because America.
Yeah.
Well, let's start with the facts of the Amityville Horror that this actual lesson is compared to a lot. So the facts of the Amityville Horror House is that in November 1974, Ronald DeFeo Jr. shot and killed 6 of his family members: his mom, his dad, 2 brothers, and 2 sisters. And this house was in Amityville, the suburbs of New York. And obviously that's shocking enough. That can stand alone as a headline. But the circumstances were also really bizarre because they were all found laying face down in their beds. And when they got to the scene, the gun that DeFeo had used to shoot his family members, there was no silencer on the gun. And for everyone to be laying face down, it just seems weird because they would have heard it. Maybe there'd be some kind of struggle. And there were also no sedatives found in their bodies. So that's already like instant haunting. Like all you have to have is like one murder, one weird thing going on in the house. But they had 6. And DeFeo initially claimed that the voices he was hearing made him do it. But he's changed his story several times. He ends up getting convicted for second-degree murder and was serving 6 life sentences with 25 years to life. He did pass away in custody. But the house still stood. It could still be bought after the family members were dead and DeFeo was in jail. So in 1975, a couple named George and Kathy Lutz moved into this house with their 3 children. Eventually, they would end up fleeing from the house after being terrorized by paranormal activity. And this is where we'll get into the fictional plot of what happens in the book and what is adapted into the movies. The murders were disclosed to the Lutz family, but they decided to buy the house anyway. I feel like you're just asking for trouble almost, but I can't say that I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, a good deal is a good deal. Real estate's expensive.
Yeah, that's true. And that was exactly the point. They practically stole the house. It had a pool. It was huge. And it was a beautiful historic home. I thought this part was so creepy. Most of the DeFeo, I don't know how to say this last name.
You're saying it right, DeFeo.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Most of the DeFeo furniture was left in the house and it was just included in the sale. And that just creeps me the fuck out. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I have no problem buying estate sale furniture, but something about being murdered.
Yeah, I think I'd be okay with everything but the beds. Do you know if the beds were still in the house?
I'm not sure, actually. That's a good question. I would agree. Everything but the beds.
Yeah.
Give me the house. Give me the rugs. Rugs are expensive.
Rugs are expensive. I'll take a murder rug. I don't care.
I got the most beautiful rug at a garage sale when I was in Ohio for $20. And
Wow.
I'm so glad because I appreciate it, but the cats appreciate it. They're not like tearing on it. They like to just sit on it. And Safdie especially loves it. Yeah.
Where is it?
It's at Tommy's house. Because I'm done furnishing our house. Everything is taken care of there. So I just have to furnish Tommy's house. And then I'll be completely content in life. So all their furniture is still there. And when the Lutz moved in, one of their friends insisted on having the house blessed. So they did. And they bring this priest in. And upon the first flick of holy water, the priest hears a voice telling them in this deep voice to get out. And he's like, okay, I'm going to get out. And he doesn't tell the Lutz family about this, but would call them about a week later to let them know to just stay out of the room that he had heard that voice in. But there was no further explanation beyond stay out of this room on the second floor because the phone was cut off and it was just static on the line. And again, this is all fictionalized. This is like the plot of the book. Some of it has some truth to it. It's like a sprinkling of truth, I feel like.
Yeah. Also, what the fuck is the point of getting your house blessed if the priest is just going to run away? Like, the house needs blessing even more.
We need to really have a priest competition to see who is the most competent.
We can add that as a portion of our beauty pageant that we're going to hold for witches.
There must be a bikini aspect to it. There must.
I need to see a priest in a bikini.
I feel like there would be some eager priest. If there was a contest, if there's a reason to slip into a bikini, who knows? Who knows what could happen? We can be that avenue. We can change the world.
You know those like slutty priest costumes at like the Halloween store that have like the upside down crosses on them?
Yeah.
We could put priests in those and then get them wet. It'll be like a wet swimsuit competition, wet t-shirt competition.
We can baptize them because they're being blasphemous with their upside down crosses. They'll have to get rebaptized or something or soaked in holy water.
We have this all figured out.
We really do. Things are just coming together so rapidly. So that'll be on Patreon, everyone. Check it out. And once the phone call ends, they're just like, okay, I guess we'll like stay out of that room. The mom was going to use it for sewing or whatever. And after his visit, the priest did end up developing a high fever and he developed these blisters on his hands. But the Lutzes didn't experience anything strange in their house at first. But of course, with haunted houses, the paranormal activity did come. George would consistently wake up at 3:15 a.m. and he was so awake he couldn't fall back asleep. He would wander the house. And this apparently, the time of 3:15 was when DeFeo had killed his family. So that's a creepy detail. There was a small room that was hidden that they ended up calling the Red Room. And it wasn't even included on the floor plans that they were given when they bought the house. So just a little secret closet, you know.
Ooh, I don't like that.
Right. I wonder if we got the floor plans for our house, if we would see your little closet stair entry situation.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see what that is / was. Have we ever even figured out where those stairs lead to?
Probably just straight upstairs.
Yeah, but like where upstairs?
Probably into my bedroom.
Ooh. We should open it up and then we'll have a stairway to each other's bedrooms.
Oh my gosh, that sounds like exactly what Tommy would want. Don't get me wrong, I'm down for it.
Yeah, he survived an entire 6 months of us having Jack and Jill bedrooms. He doesn't need to do it again.
Right, we just need to not tell him. Maybe it'll open up to the guest room. That could be our second stairway. 6 feet from the original stairway, but cooler.
Much cooler.
But it's undercover. Yeah. So they have this little secret room just like we do. The house would also sometimes fill with swarms of flies for no good reason. Nobody was leaving bananas out on the counter, nothing like that. No fridges ceased to work randomly.
It already sounds better than our house.
I know. I'm like, why are you guys even complaining? Why is this a story?
Yeah. It seems wrong. Yeah, it seems wrong of them. I'd trade places.
Well, you would experience drastic changes in temperature, bad smells, green stuff on the walls, seeing demon faces, doors slamming, and upside down crucifixes. One time, George even apparently saw Kathy turn into an old woman and then lift several feet off of the bed. So at that point, they're like, okay, we need to do something here. They bring in the priest again. He conducts another blessing, which would eventually lead to their last night staying in the house. Their experiences were so frightening that they fled the house. They went to stay with their in-laws and they left all of their possessions behind. The book claims that the house was built on land in which Native Americans went to reject and abandon people who are mentally ill and dying. That's complete bullshit, but I thought that it was important to call out the bullshit in the book. It's been completely rejected by facts and Native American leaders, but that was like the origin of like why this house was haunted in addition to the murders, because the murders happened because of this Native American whatever they're trying to say. That's completely false. But Kathy and George in real life did both take lie detector tests, several of them, after their claims that they had experienced these paranormal things were all made up and that they were just trying to get money for the book. And it is true, they did lose all of their money after fleeing this house. Also, Ed and Lorraine Warren visited this house. We know them pretty well from The Conjuring and that entire series. Oh, yeah. Another creepy detail in this story is that the people who acted in the films for these movies did also experience bad misfortune. There were people waking up at 3:15 a.m. just like they did in the story. There were consecutive failed marriages and several early deaths. The director, I think, died at like 50 or something like that. So just kind of weird. I don't know if it's because they had 3:15 a.m. stuck in their head that they were waking up at that time or what it was, but that's what they claim. And then James Cromer bought this house in 1977 and lived there without any paranormal issues. So fact and fiction all kind of blended with the Amityville horror house. And the Wells house is referred to as the real-life version of the fictional version of the Amityville house. It was built in 1860 by an industrialist named Augustus Lanning after his mom had owned the property and she transferred the deed of the land to him. And this place is really freaking old. Have you ever seen a picture of this house?
Yeah.
Okay, then I'll keep moving. But especially now in like the 2010s, it looks like a haunted house like you would see in...
It totally does. It looks like it has eyes.
Yeah, it does. And it's like blue with pink trim. It looks like it would have been cute. Or no, it's not blue. It's like a grayish blue brick with a bright green framing around the windows. I don't know. It looks like it would be really cute and inviting, but you gotta be suspicious of those really cute and inviting but also creepy houses.
There's a house near our house that I love because it looks like the Amityville house. And it like has those two like big like windows like that kind of look like eyes, but then on the side of them, it's got these little tiny baby windows with bars over them on either side. And it's super fucking weird and creepy. And I want to know the story so bad.
Yeah, what's with the tiny windows?
I don't know. And they have bars and the other windows don't have bars.
Is it easier to break into small windows or less noticeable?
They're way up high. They're like past the second floor. Like they're super high up. So I don't know. It's weird.
I don't know either. I have no clue. But when you see a creepy house, you know it. This place is super old. And before even moving into the house, there were apparently several strange deaths on the street of their neighbors. And shortly after moving into this new house, Lanning experienced a ton of misfortune for himself. First of all, several of his factories burnt to the ground. So that's kind of shitty. His business was kind of out of luck. And it can be rebuilt, though. What can't be rebuilt is the life of a loved one, of a human being. In a complete freak accident, his nephew died while in the barn working with some horses. A bolt of lightning struck the barn caught fire, and I'm not sure exactly how it happened, but the nephew ends up pinned under a horse who had either died or passed out in this fire. And he was unable to escape and died in the barn fire.
That might be the worst way to die. Like, not only are you being burned alive, but you're trapped under a horse.
Yeah, you have to experience the complete terrible experience that you're in. It's not like you just get to pass out and peace out.
Yeah, you die a horse boy.
Once a horse boy or always a horse boy. I'm getting too excited. I'm like, we start talking about horses, and I'm like, wait, am I a horse girl?
He's riding with Jesus now. R.I.P.
Fly high, nephew of Augustus Lanning. Fly high. A priest was also walking by the house one day, and he ended up dropping dead from a heart attack right in front of the house. He wasn't even investigating it or anything like that. He just dropped dead.
Ugh.
Yeah, maybe we could have saved him if he would have been at one of our priest beauty contests. He could have been saved.
Yeah, there won't be any priests dying at our priest beauty contest.
No, they're gonna be rebirthed. Truly, that's what I think. The most interesting owners of this Wells house are the Bennett family. They lived there for 2 years. They moved in 1976 before they eventually fled the house, just like the Lutz did in the Amityville house. And they also left everything behind except for some of their clothes. Like I said before, it's really hard to find direct quotes, but there are some, and the local newspapers have always reported when the horror house was sold to new owners. Like, everyone knows in that area that this is a haunted house. But before the Bennetts fled, Walker Bennett, the father, the husband, he described seeing a well-dressed man around the house who would appear and disappear. They also had blood that they would see seeping from the walls and up from the floors in the living room. Have you seen these pictures?
No, I don't think so.
They're they're definitely questionable, but there have been a lot of people I'm going to share the screen. There have been a lot of paranormal investigators in to look at this house. So here's one luminol reactive. It's really blurry. Basically, all you see is the black screen and 2 lines that are lighting up blue from the luminol.
Okay, so they weren't actually seeing blood, but they're seeing luminol lighting up.
They did. This luminol lighting up is from the Sci-Fi Live investigators going to check out the house, which we'll learn later. They stayed in this house for months at a time and live streamed everything.
Okay.
But we know that luminol can it can pick up spit, semen, like not just blood.
Hey, Haley, I posted in the chat a picture of that house with the little bars on the window if you want to look at it.
I am actually loading it right now because I saw that come in and I was like, what is happening right now?
Yeah. They're really small.
Whoa. It is really small. That is weird. Why would it have not have bars anywhere else?
I know.
And you see there's 2 of them?
Oh, yeah, on either side. I almost didn't see the one on the left.
Yeah.
How weird.
So weird.
Google it.
Yeah. I want to just knock on their door and ask them why. What do you got up there? What's
They're
in
like,
that
oh my gosh. What do you have in that room?
Yeah.
This is a citizen's arrest. I need to know about the tiny windows. Give me the information. All right, where were we here? All right, yeah. So the luminol, it can pick up blood, spit, semen, really any bodily fluid that you have. So that one's kind of questionable. Definitely to be taken, like all of this, with a grain of salt. There are reported random physical attacks. There seems to be a lot of people who report being scratched in threes. And there's even a picture of someone who claims to have been scratched with the number 6 on their neck while investigating this place. And one day, Walker's young daughter was going up the stairs when she tripped at the top. And then he said that she floated all the way to the bottom of the stairs and then landed on her feet.
Whoa. Well, that's good.
Yeah, that's really good. So I'm like, is it haunted or is it a blessing? Because you need to pick a lane.
It could be both.
It could be both. The demon could be trying to get on their good side.
Yeah.
And he's like, nah, girl, you're not clumsy.
Maybe you're going to get to this, but I think it may have been the Lutz boy, like, had his fingers slammed in the window.
I didn't
like
see
the window
about
like slammed on his fingers and like broke them, and I think his mom watched it happen. Like the window just like all by itself like broke his fingers.
Weird. I can't confirm or deny. I didn't see anything about that, but I wouldn't be surprised. It seems like they were constantly getting hurt and witnessing things moving when they shouldn't have been moving and tripping and falling and just craziness. And I don't know about the wife and his fingers getting stuck in the window, but when Walker told what was her name, Kathy, okay, she thought that it was unbelievable, but then it happened again a week later and she saw it herself, where the daughter tripped on the stairs and fell, like floated backwards down the stairs and then landed on her feet. I don't know, maybe she was part cat, who knows.
If your spouse tells you he watched your daughter float down the stairs, how are you not going to believe them? Like, who makes that up? That'd be a crazy lie to tell.
It would be a crazy lie to tell, and I would like to say that I would believe them, but also I would be like, honey, maybe we should talk to a professional.
That's true.
Like a therapist.
It's also
a psychiatrist.
Yeah. It's also like too scary to believe. Like, if you accept that, you're accepting that your house is fucked.
That's exactly what Walker said. He was pretty religious, and he was like, I never believed in any of this stuff, and you don't want to believe it until it happens to you, and you can't not believe it, especially when other people experience these hauntings.
Yeah. I feel like as a religious person, like, aren't you supposed to be the one who believes in demons? Like,
yeah,
what are you talking about, guy?
I can't answer that because I don't know.
Like, I guess
if you believe in like God and all these other extra things, like why not throw ghosts and demons in there?
Well, I get like they say they don't believe in ghosts because you either go to heaven or hell, sure, but then like you believe in demons. What if it's a demon?
Yeah, you don't know all the forms a demon can take on.
Yeah,
you don't know. Be skeptical. That's all we're saying. Another creepy detail, Walker was doing some work in the house and he was trying to figure out where this like banging sound was coming from that he was hearing all the time. He gets this brick from the chimney that he was like, I don't know if it was loose or what. I can't imagine he was just tearing his fucking brick chimney apart. But a brick comes off from the chimney, and behind it, there's this tin box. And of course, you have to open the box that you find behind the brick in the chimney. And in it, there are teeth. There are chicken bones that are tied together into a cross. And one source said that there's also a red ribbon in there.
Oh, no. No.
Yeah, that's, for some reason, that's the most believable part to me because I'm like, well, if there's going to be a haunting, there have to be teeth in a box somewhere.
Clearly. But also, like, the chicken bones is scary. Like, I don't, like.
That's like voodoo.
Yeah. And, it's all in the red ribbon. It's creepy as fuck.
I don't like it.
No.
It's super creepy. He also found a photo of the original owner of the house, Augustus Lanning, and he confirmed, he's like, that's that guy that I would see around the house. That's him.
Mm-hmm.
The Bennetts blamed the haunting on the past tenants who had experienced illness, and they brought, just like the Lutzes, they brought a priest into the house to bless it, like you do, and everything was fine after that. Until one morning, it's like it returned with a vengeance. They said that they were awoken by a thunderous roar coming from inside the house on a completely clear morning. After that thunderous roar, the front door was shaking. There was thumping, apparently coming from the attic. There was crashing they heard in the kitchen, and they heard a crying child in the walls.
Oh my fucking God. I would flee the house too. That's probably what happened to everybody.
Yeah.
Like,
what is the other option? How does one not flee the house?
they just need a better priest. Like, that priest that's been doing all the blessings needs to be fired. Bring in a witch. She'll know what to do.
Bring in a witch, sage it out.
Yeah.
Just sage it out. Maybe that's what our priest component of our beauty pageant should be, is a priest boot camp. We can ask them all the questions we have about demons.
Yeah. Have them do an exorcism. I want to see an exorcism.
Oh, yeah, I do too. But I'd also be scared that it would jump to me. I feel like that's a real thing, a real possibility when you're getting it out of one person.
Is it
How do
bad?
you protect yourself from that?
I don't know, but like, is it bad that like I kind of want it to jump into me just for like a second to see what it's like, and then like have it get out? But like, don't you wonder what it's like to be possessed?
No. I don't wonder, but that does seem fitting for you. But that's not an option, is it? How many times has a demon just done a little pop in, pop out type deal?
I feel like it could. Like, it just wants to taste.
I feel like you're welcoming a demon into your body right now and you don't even know it.
Don't say that. My basement is haunted. I don't want... Ugh. I'm not welcoming a demon. I was totally kidding.
Yeah, you need to put that shit out in the universe. What's something haunted that's happened in your basement?
We used to play Ouija board in here as kids, like all the fucking time. And yeah, there's been like a bunch of shit. I feel like, you know how they say when you're like a angsty teen, like you like bring like angsty teen energy and it like can manifest as like a poltergeist?
Yeah, I feel like you're more susceptible as a teenager.
Like during my angsty teen years, like stuff would happen. Like we'd come home and like the candles in the house would be on, or like my friend was sleeping over in my bedroom that was just like down the hallway, and she like always wore this cross necklace. And one night she like woke up with a terrible feeling and her necklace was gone. And she like fled the house. Like she got in her car and drove home. And then the next day like texted me about her necklace. And like she knows she went to bed with it on because she was like holding it because she was scared in my bedroom. And I like tore the room apart, like took all the blankets off the bed, shook them out, like flipped over the mattress. I never found her necklace.
Oh my God. I don't want you to think I don't remember these stories, because I do, but I'm glad that the listeners know about them, because that is
chilling. Really fucking creepy.
I hate it. So demons, if you're trying to prey on Kat, she's no longer an angsty teenager.
Don't do it.
An angsty adult, and she won't take any of your shit.
That's right. But also, let's not provoke them.
Let's not. Yeah. Stay away, demons.
Now
Just
I'm like...
talk to us. Now you're scared?
I'm like looking at my own screen right now over my own shoulder, like waiting for something to pop up.
Oh my God. I hope it does, because we could catch it on camera.
Don't say that.
You started it.
Stop.
Sounds like you guys need a priest to come and bless the house.
Yeah, we do, except we don't believe in priests, so my mom would never invite a priest into our house.
Right. You need... Who do you need? You need...
I need a witch. If you're a witch, come to my house.
All the witches unite. You know where it is if you're a real witch. All right. So yeah, the Bennetts get the fuck out of that house because they're really scared, and that was a terrifying experience. And again, just like the Lutz family, they left everything except for some clothes. And it was especially peculiar because this was in the 70s. They left several really expensive electronics behind. And at the time, you know, we don't have electronics. Well, we do have electronics now, but, you know, not not really so much in the late 70s like we do now. So they thought that was weird. I guess I would also grab my clothes, but I don't know. Maybe I'd come back. Who knows? Who's to say?
I'd definitely, like, if I was fleeing the house, grab, like, a sweatshirt. Like, just, like, your most comfortable clothes while you're running out.
You're reminding me, my mom was always like, never drive without shoes. Make sure you have a blanket in the back or like in your trunk of your car. Make sure you have a change of clothes because you never know when you're going to get stranded on the side of the road.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, damn, you're right.
You're like, Mom, I have a cell phone.
She's
That's
like,
all I need.
Well, when is the charger? How much charge are you going to have? Can you guarantee it's at 100%? That's your Midwestern mom constantly worrying. So whatever you do, make sure you have sweatpants in your trunk as well.
That's a good rule.
It is a good rule.
Yeah.
I've tried to stick by it. The Warrens visited this house as well. Lorraine felt that anyone living in that house, she said, would be compelled to destroy their bodies, which is a really weird way to put it, but I guess it was kind of true. There had been 6 deaths in that house, 2 of them being people who died by suicide. So we don't know if, who knows what the heck Lorraine Warren was talking about, whether it was being compelled to complete suicide or drinking habits or who knows. But there were a lot of deaths in the house. And I don't know if it's statistically significant, but I don't know, 6 deaths seems like a lot.
That is a lot. Most houses, like, have 1 or 2 people that, like, died of old age. It's not, like, 6 people. That's a lot.
Yeah, there's some ghost in this house. Eventually, the house would sell again to a woman named Catherine Watkins in 1982, and she lived there until 2012. So she knew all about the haunting when she bought it, and she was with it. She was like, I believe in ghosts. I'm not scared of them.
Good for her.
She stood up to them. She did experience paranormal things, like her bed would shake, objects would move around, the lights would turn on and off, the TV would go on and off, but Catherine didn't give a fuck. Eventually, she would move away and had to sell her house. Her neighbor Betsy helped her sell it. And I love this so much. They really leaned into the haunted history of the house. On Realtor.com, you can still see the listing for this house. And one of the sentences, I'll just read the first part. Circa 1800s and full of historical intrigue. With some TLC, you can bring new life to this 4-bedroom beauty. As soon as you step over the threshold, you'll realize there's truly something out of this world with this home, including its craftsmanship. So that was just one tidbit. And her friend Betsy would go in to check on the house because Catherine had moved away, so her neighbor was the only person who'd go and check in before it was sold. And she told the newspaper that she would just go in and get out as soon as possible. There were all these noises that were going on in that house that she just had to ignore to the best of her ability to be able to complete the job that she had taken on as this person's friend and neighbor. The house was eventually sold to Tim Woods of Live Sci-Fi. They're a paranormal investigation group. He spent an entire month in the house doing paranormal investigations. They would just live stream all the time, 24/7. They did like 3 months, I think, total. And there are literally hours of material on YouTube and on their website. They definitely felt that a demonic spirit haunted the house and that it can't be removed and it's unsafe for anyone to live there. They had unknown sources pulling at their shirts, scratching them. If you think orbs could be spirits or paranormal activity, there's a ton of orbs in their videos on YouTube that they've posted from their live stream. You should just check it out. Beyond that, there's been no new news on this house. It was boarded up. They haven't done live streams in a long time. But in 2018, an onlooker called the cops because they saw someone trying to pry open the boards that covered the windows of the house to get in. The police arrive and they discover a 33-year-old man with a 24-inch sword attached to his back, bladed brass knuckles, a pocket knife, a Bible, a Crown Royale bag full of shotgun shells. And they're like, "What's up, man?"
Sup?
And he's like, "I'm here to hunt ghosts."
What? With a shotgun and a sword?
Yes.
Nice.
Yes, the gun was stashed behind the house. It matched the shotgun shells. He was ready to kick some ass. I don't know. Maybe he was the descendant of one of the people who died in that house. Who knows? But obviously he was compelled to go hunt some ghosts because he was ready.
What a loony.
I know. Maybe we need to get rid of the dowsing rods and just get a sword.
Does he know what a ghost is?
Something tells me that maybe he was under the influence of something.
Maybe, but like that seems like a lot of planning to be under the influence for the whole time at least.
Yeah, it's too organized. Yeah. He's like, "I keep that thing on me." And by thing, I mean my 2-foot sword. Where do you even get a 2-foot sword?
Was he prying the boards off the house with his sword?
I don't think, no, because it was attached to his back.
Oh my god.
He's just standing there like rubbing his temples, trying to pry it off with his mind. He's like, I can fight the boards with my mind, but the ghost, it's gonna require a gun, bladed knuckles, and a sword.
I love that he was gonna punch the ghost with brass knuckles.
I know.
It's my favorite part.
He may have to like fight off squatters living in the house, or maybe some raccoons. I don't know what his plan was, but that's the last update. Besides that last incident, everything has truly been quiet at the Wells house. No one lives there now. Unfortunately, it's not open to visitors, so we can't take a night creepy trip there. So we'll just have to settle for the haunted house that we currently live in. I did do some research into the haunted experiences we've had in our house, but I think I'll save it for another time because this is a long episode so far.
Yeah, it's been fun though.
It has been so fun.
Before you end, I just feel like I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about this. In your research, did you see the picture of the boy on the stairs of the Amityville Horror House?
No.
Like, one of the most famous pictures of ghosts, like, that is, like, held up as, like, the proof of ghosts came from that house. Someone captured a picture of one of the DeFeo children as a ghost on the stairs.
Let me look it up right now. Boy on stairs, Amityville house.
Do you see it?
Ew.
Yeah.
Oh,
Isn't that fucking scary? And they've, like, had people try to debunk it and nobody can.
I fucking hate it. Oh my gosh. I'm going to have to take like 3 times the normal amount of melatonin tonight to fall asleep because fuck that.
Yeah, I bet.
Ew.
I don't know how you slept after doing this research. I couldn't.
Well, I started it. I kind of switched topics and then, you know how things are. I switched topics and I started a bunch of different things. And then I took my ADHD medication and was actually able to focus yesterday and landed on the Wells house. And that research was done. And then this morning I was like, man, I feel like I need to beef it up a little bit. So I went into the Amityville Horror House and I wasn't able to do a deep dive, really.
Yeah.
I was just like, well, let me see how we can relate it to the Wells house and see why it's compared. But yeah, that could be its entire own topic. I'm shocked at this picture. That's really freaking
Isn't
scary.
That fucked up? For those listening, if you haven't seen it, look it up right now. It literally looks like a picture of like a child with glowing eyes peeking out from the banister of the stairs. It's so fucking scary.
Yeah, I hate it, but also love it. I'm a complex human being. All right. Well, that's all about the Wells house. I hope that you enjoyed our version of this story. My sources are Gothic Bite Magazine, livesci-fi.tv, realtor.com, prweb.com, time.com, the Association for the Scientific Study of Anomalous Phenomena, medicalnewstoday.com, metafilter.com, Wikipedia, and YouTube for the infographic show on the Amityville Horror. Those are my sources. So much reading this week.
All right. Well, thank you, Haley. That was great. I'm thoroughly creeped out. And thank you guys for listening to this episode. If you enjoyed it, please rate, review, subscribe, follow our socials, tell a friend, and maybe even consider heading over to Patreon. But most of all, thank you for listening. And 3, 2, 1, class dismissed.